Hello and welcome to Siyasat TV. I'm Sumayya Junaid Ahmed bringing you the news. Here are the headlines.
32 dead as bus falls in canal in Madhya Pradesh, more fewer drowned. Crowds thin out at Delhi borders as farmers plan new strategy. Delhi court issues summons to Kanhaiya Kumar, 9 others in JNU sedition case. COVID vaccination to those above 50 years from March, says Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan. For MLC polls, 169 booths set up in Hyderabad district. KCR's birthday to be celebrated on a grand note, says Animal Husbandry Minister Talsani Srinivas Yadav. United Nations warns Myanmar military as internet restored after blackout. United States of Congress to set up commission to investigate Capitol attack.
Let's begin with our top story. 32 people have died in Madhya Pradesh Siddhi district, about 560 kilometers from the state capital Bhopal, after a bus fell off bridge into a canal. Many more are feared to be drowned. About 60 passengers were on board when the bus fell off and driver lost the control of the vehicle around 7:30 a.m.
A team of State Disaster Response Force is carrying out rescue operations. The state government has cancelled a key event in view of accident which was to be virtually attended by Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said in a video message, "What has happened is extremely tragic. Rescue works is already on. 2 ministers are on their way to the site. Families of those who have died will be given a compensation of rupees 5 lakh. The entire state is standing with those affected." While 32 bodies have been recovered, so far 7 passengers have been rescued.
Moving on to our next story, the crowd of farmers is thinning around the Delhi borders at Ghaziapur and Singhu as the protest against the centre's new farm laws entered 83rd day with no breakthrough in sight. Many of the farmers are on their way back to the village from the thousands of campaigning at the protest site barely a month ago. Only half the numbers remain.
Asked if the protest is fizzing out, farmers said it is clear that this is going to be a long battle. Having less crowd at the borders is a part of their new strategy, which is based on spreading the agitation. The focus is now on holding massive rallies across the state to garner support for the agitation. Farmer leader Rakesh Tikait has planned Mahapanchayats across the country. He is expected to attend a series of such meetings in Haryana, Maharashtra and Rajasthan over the next 10 days.
And Congress Vidya Rani's call to distribute liquor to farmers to strengthen the agitation. Bharatiya Kisan Union spokesperson Rakesh Tikait said, "What is the use of liquor here? I don't know why she is making such comments. Such people don't have anything to do with our movement. It's wrong and shouldn't be done. They can distribute whatever they want at their moment."
तो अपनी किसी तरह की कोई कमी नहीं छोड़ी। हर जगह उन्होंने खाने का, पीने का, हर तरह से जितना उनके बल था वो काम किया। मैं तो यही कहूँगी कि हर साथी की जितनी भी हिम्मत है, चाहे वो पैसे रुपए से दान कर सकता है, सब्जियों से दान कर सकता है, घी का दान कर सकता है, जैसे शराब का भी कर सकते हैं। सारी तरह से मैं कहती हूँ जिस तरह से जिसका जो भी सहयोग बनता है करें और इस आंदोलन को बढ़ाएं।
विद्या रानी कांग्रेस की लीडर है, उन्होंने आज ये कहा है कि किसानों के आंदोलन में उनको दारू बांटी जाए। तो क्या कहना आपके इस बारे में?
किसानों के आंदोलन में
दारू बांटी जाए,
क्यों? दारू का क्या हो यहाँ?
उन्होंने उनकी वीडियो वायरल हो रही है, उसमें खुद उन्होंने मंच से बड़ी पब्लिक में कहा है कि किसानों के आंदोलन में हर चीज उनको दी जाए, खाने दारू सब कुछ दी जाए उनको।
यहाँ तो नहीं कोई दारू पीता, इस तरह का कोई प्रोग्राम है। हम तो इसके बहुत खिलाफ है दारू के।
तो जिस तरह के बयानबाजी वो कर रही हैं तो उससे
क्या पता भाई क्यों कर रही है बयानबाजी? उनका क्या मतलब आंदोलन से? उनका क्या मतलब आंदोलन?
तो फिर इस तरह की बयानबाजी क्यों कर रहे हैं? किसानों के आंदोलन को समर्थन
और कोई क्या कह रहा है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं भाई? नीचे करो थोड़ा। हाँ,
तो आप लोग इसके बिल्कुल खिलाफत में है कि
दारू कोई यहाँ पी लगा आंदोलन में? इसका बहुत तो है नहीं, रोटी खाने का भी किसान का, दारू पीने का है इसका बहुत।
तो पार्टी
ये क्या लक्षण है यहाँ?
तो पार्टी किस तरह की वजह से बयानबाजी क्यों कर रही है?
गलत चीज है, नहीं करनी चाहिए। अपने आंदोलन में बांटे जो बांटना।
Moving on, a Delhi court has taken cognizance of the charge sheet filed by the Delhi police in the Jawaharlal Nehru University sedition case, in which Communist Party of India leader Kanhaiya Kumar is an accused along with others. Chief Metropolitan Magistrate Pankaj Sharma on Monday, after taking cognizance of the matter, issued summons to all accused named in the charge sheet for 15th of March.
After almost 1 year, the Delhi police has received prosecution sanction against former JNU Students' Union President Kanhaiya Kumar and 9 others in the 2016 JNU sedition case. In its charge sheet, the police claimed JNU student leader Kanhaiya Kumar led a procession and supported, along with others named as accused, seditious slogan raised on the JNU campus on 9th of February 2016 during an event to mark the hanging of the Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru. Earlier, the matter was adjourned several times due to the pendency of required sanctions from the concerned department.
And Union Home Minister Amit Shah today extended greetings to the Delhi police personnel and their families on the Forces Raising Day and said they are ensuring the national capital's security even under adverse circumstances.
As Home Minister, Mr. Shah is charge of the Delhi Police. Home Minister Amit Shah on Delhi Police Foundation Day tweeted in Hindi, "I salute the courage, restraint and determination of the brave personnel of the Delhi Police."
Members of Students Federation of India and Democratic Youth Federation of India staged a protest in Kolkata on Monday night after the death of DYFI activist who sustained injuries during march to Secretariat on 11th of February. While the SFI is a student wing of Communist Party of India, the DYFI is the party's youth wing.
Moidul Islam Midya, a DYFI activist who was injured in clash with the police during the Left Party's march to West Bengal Secretariat, Nabanna on 11th of February and died of his injuries on Monday morning at private hospital in Kolkata. The hospital authorities sent the remains of Mr. Islam to his home on Monday night. SFI DYFI members staged a protest near his residence. CPIM leader Muhammad Salim termed the death of DYFI activist as cold-blooded murder by the West Bengal police under the instruction from the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee.
And Union Road Transport and Highways Ministry announced all lanes in the Fee Plaza on the national highways shall be declared as fast-tag lane on the Fee Plaza with effect from midnight of 15th of February.
Any vehicle not fitted with FASTag or vehicle without valid functional FASTag entering into the FASTag lane of Fee Plaza shall pay a double fee applicable to the category. The Ministry of mandated fitment of FASTag in M and N categories of motor vehicles with effect from 1st of January. Category M stands for the motor vehicle with at least 4 wheelers used for carrying passengers, and Category N stands for a motor vehicle with at least 4 wheels used for carrying goods, which may also carry persons in addition to goods.
Well, Union Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan on Monday said that the centre will be in a situation to administer vaccines to those above 50 years of age in March this year. This will be the second phase of the vaccination and 26 crore people fall in this category.
He also indicated that over 18 COVID-19 vaccinations are likely to be available in the country in the coming few months. The minister said India has sent COVID-19 vaccine to 20 to 25 countries. The ministry said on Monday that 82,85,295 have been vaccinated in the country against COVID-19.
Let's bring you the latest on the COVID figures in the country. The daily new infection fell below 10,000 for the fourth time this month, taking the India's tally of COVID-19 to 1.9 crore mark with 9,121 new coronavirus cases, while the fresh fatalities remain below 100 for the 10th time this month with 81 deaths reported in the past 24 hours. Remember, this is the government data shared by the Health Ministry coming up early this morning. Amid concerns of the third wave, more than 11,805 people successfully fought off the viral disease, taking the overall recoveries to 1.6 crore. The country now has 1,9,95,710 cases and more than 1,55,000 lives lost due to COVID-19, whereas Telangana recorded 129 new COVID-19 cases and 1 fatality. Let's shift our focus to Telangana, where as a part of preparations for the 14th of March MLC election, GHMC Commissioner DS Lokesh Kumar on Monday said nearly 169 polling centers will set up in Hyderabad district for Hyderabad Rangareddy Mehboob Nagar Graduates Constituency MLC elections.
At a meeting with Nodal Officer on Monday, Lokesh Kumar said 5.6 lakh voters have enrolled for the elections. The LB Stadium has temporarily been identified as the distribution, reception and counting center. He directed the officials to make webcasting arrangements beside other basic amenities at the polling centers. Additional Commissioner GHMC Priyanka Ala was appointed as the returning officer for the elections. Directions were issued to officials to initiate measures to identify physically challenged persons over 80 years and those with COVID and make arrangements for facilitating them to exercise franchise at their respective places.
Well, the birthday of Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao will be celebrated on magnificent note at Jal Vihar in Necklace Road on 17th of February.
At a press conference, Animal Husbandry Minister Talasani Srinivas Yadav said a 30-minute documentary with 3D graphics explaining in detail history of the Chief Minister would also be screened on the occasion. The minister, who released the documentary teaser, said MLC K. Kavita would offer a gold saree weighing 2 kg to Sri Balkampet Yallamma. He said saplings would be planted as part of Green India Challenge initiative taken up by MP J. Santosh Kumar and planting of 1 crore saplings in an hour on 17th of February.
Today, the thieves made futile attempt to break into a private bank's ATM center at Naredmith Crossroad in the wee hours. Officials said no money was lost, but the ATM was partially damaged. On receiving the information, the Naredmith police visited the spot and have taken up investigation. Moving on, a woman allegedly attacked her 12-year-old son with a razor at their house in Bandlaguda around midnight on Monday. Police said the woman, who was angry, grabbed a razor and attacked the boy, slashing the blade on his thighs.
Due to unbearable pain, the boy cried. Hearing it, the neighbors rushed to the house and found the boy lying down with deep cuts on his thighs. They called the ambulance and immediately shifted the boy to nearby hospital. The Narsingi police, on information, visited the spot and had taken up the investigation.
Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi inspected the ongoing Nala widening work at Dabirpura under Yakutpura Assembly constituency on Monday. GHMC is taking up the Nala widening works in 2 phases with an estimated cost of Rs 3.93 crore.
In the first phase, the work at Dabirpura Darwaza are being taken up with the estimated cost of 1.98 crore, and the second phase work from Purani Haveli to Ganganagar Nala are planned with a cost of 1.95 crore, which includes Nala extension, desilting, construction of retaining wall and CC slab. Mr. Owaisi requested the municipal corporation officials to expedite the Nala work and complete them at the earliest. He was accompanied by Yakutpura MLA Syed Ahmad Pasha Qadri, MLC Mirza Riazul Hassan and AIMIM party cooperators.
Moving on to our international news, the United Nations has warned the Myanmar military of severe consequences if it responds harshly to the protests that have been taking place across the country following the 1st of February coup, as a second internet blackout was lifted early on Tuesday.
United Nations spokesman Farhan Haq warned Myanmar military that the world is watching closely and any form of heavy-handed response is likely to have severe consequences. Myanmar was plunged into second internet blackout on Monday night after 10th day of demonstrations against the coup and an increased presence of troops and military vehicles. Injuries were reported in Mandalay, the country's second biggest city, after police used force to break up a protest there.
All right, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said the path out of lockdown must be sensible to avoid being forced into reversal of the relaxation of measures.
Johnson's comment on Monday came after the government reached its target to vaccinate 15 million people by the middle of this month, a milestone which has fueled calls for stringent restrictions to be loosened. Johnson is expected to study the latest coronavirus statistics in coming days before setting out a roadmap for exiting lockdown. The announcement, expected on 22nd of February, will be 7 weeks after the latest strict lockdown was rolled out in response to the troubling spread of the highly infectious variant of the novel coronavirus.
New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Monday that genomic sequencing of 2 recently COVID-19 cases that prompted the lockdown in Auckland, the country's largest city, showed they were the variant of B117, a more transmissible variant first detected in United Kingdom last year. It is the first time the variant has been found in the New Zealand.
Mrs. Arden said in a Facebook Live post on Monday, "We were absolutely right to make decision to extra cautious because we assumed it is going to be one of more transmissible variants." The health ministry said there were no results yet from sequencing of third case linked to the Auckland cluster, all members of the same family.
Moving on, according to a government official, at least 60 people have died and hundreds are missing after boat capsized in Congo River in Western Democratic Republic of Congo.
Steve Mibikai, Minister for Humanitarian Action, told on Monday that 700 people were on board the vessel that sunk near village of Longola Ikoti in Mai-Ndombe province the previous night. The vessel had departed from the capital, Kinshasa, and was heading to Equator province. Boat accidents are common in the vast mineral-rich country because vessels are often overloaded with passengers and cargo. Most of the passengers traveling on vessels also often do not wear life jackets.
And a top Democratic Party lawmaker said on Monday the United States of Congress will establish an independent commission to investigate and report on 6th of January siege of the United States Capitol.
United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi said in note of House members that commission would be modeled on one step after the attack of September 11, 2001. She said the commission would look at the interference with peaceful transfer of power as well as the preparedness and response of US Capitol Police and other law enforcement agencies. Pelosi's announcement comes after United States Senate on 13th of February declined to convict Trump on an impeachment charge of inciting of insurrection in relation to the riot.
Before we wrap up our bulletin, let's have a look on our headlines.
32 dead as bus falls in canal in Madhya Pradesh, more fewer drowned. Crowds thin out at Delhi borders as farmers plan new strategy. Delhi court issues summons to Kanhaiya Kumar, 9 others in JNU sedition case. COVID vaccination to those above 50 years from March, says Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan. For MLC polls, 169 booths set up in Hyderabad district. KCR's birthday to be celebrated on a grand note, says Animal Husbandry Minister Talsani Srinivas Yadav. United Nations warns Myanmar military as internet restored after blackout. United States of Congress to set up commission to investigate Capitol attack.
These were all the updates. More news on the other side. Thank you for your time. For more news, stay tuned to Siyasat TV.